His name is Cletus White, a former chemical scientist majoring in advanced chemical reengineering and cellular reengineering. Cletus was on a short leash at the advancement of cellular advancement and healing. He has been accused of harassment of former and current employees, and he is known to have a short temper when stressed. And his defense to these accusations were, "It was all in fun, it was just a joke." But if that wasn't enough, Cletus's project that he's been working on for the last 3 years at risk of being terminated. The project was focused on creating a synthetic material that mimics the human cells, but with enhanced properties of regeneration and durability. Cletus, one night, was attempting to quicken the regeneration process using different chemicals and enhancement treatments in hopes of getting the material to function in the way that he hoped to keep his project alive and to also keep his job. But as Cletus was working on the material, something happened. One of the beakers that he was reaching for suddenly exploded. The chemicals was within spreading over everything, both the material and himself. The material started to burn Cletus's face, turning his skin into what seemed like molten liquid or molten skin falling from his face. With this happening, Cletus fell to the ground, grabbing the synthetic material and hoping that he can remove the chemicals from his face, but did not. Cletus, screaming and wailing in pain, clenches the material to his chest and to his face. But as he did this, the material activated and started to self-repair itself. But in doing so, it merged with Cletus, confusing his cells for that of its own. So as it repaired itself, it repaired Cletus's, but merging the material to his own being, repairing the cells as it goes. And with the chemicals covering his body and his face, the material crawled over him like it was some alien life form. It went on, and Cletus screamed into the night, no one hearing him. Morning came, and the scientist who was there that day to test the material walked in. The lab was destroyed. The material missing, chemicals spilt everywhere. As he looked around, he noticed Cletus's name tag was on the ground. He called out for him, saying, "Cletus, Dr. White, are you here?" But as he did so, he walked closer and stepped on a broken piece of glass, seeing blood next to it. As he saw this, he stepped back, attempting to walk away. But as he turned to do so, the former colleague, Dr. Cletus White, was standing in front of him, the material covering his face, disfiguring him and conforming to his body to try to heal and stop the acid or the chemicals that were affecting his body, enhancing his strength. But as his colleague looked at him, all that they could ask was, "Is that you, Cletus?" They leaned in, but as they did so, Cletus then grabbed his throat, pulling him up to his face, with the only thing saying was, "Time to continue the experiment." And as that happened, Cletus raised his hand, or what looked like one, and razor edge points were at the tips of his fingers. And he pointed towards the doctor's face. The doctor then screamed, and everything faded to red. I hope you guys like this story. This is if you couldn't tell from the title, this is a fusion of Carnage and the Joker. I really like how this looked. It turned out really interesting. And if you guys are wondering why I chose this type of design, I chose well, obvious Carnage, and Carnage in his own right, unless you want to count the more recent versions, is pretty simple in his design. Black, red, skinny, muscular, has an affinity for sharp, pointy things. But Joker, I took a image of him from one of the animations that I remember watching when I was a kid, or at least seeing. I don't really recall watching too much of it. But this version of the Joker I really liked, mainly because I noticed, well, one, it's different than the other Jokers I've seen, but I also noticed that he had swirls on his sleeves. Made this even more cool because, for those of you who don't know this, symbiotes, or clintars as they're also known, their symbol, or at least a cult that is worshipping them, has this symbol that's kind of like a weird swirl. In the most recent Spider-Man game, you actually saw it on a meteor that crash landed in the city. Spoilers, by the way. But I figured swirls, this version of Joker with his straitjacket, plus the swirls of the cult, why not? So I just kind of went with that. I added some more swirls around the knees, the shoulders, and the chest. And I did one around the belly button just for the hell of it. I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting to put one there. Now that I think about it, it kind of looks like a question mark. Huh. I never thought about that. But I also liked it. And I also took the color schemes from that Joker as well, because I didn't want to do like green and red. Because, I don't know, that just, in my head, turned him into a Christmas monster. So, yeah, I hope you guys liked this. I hope you thought the story was interesting and unique. And, yeah, thank you guys for listening and watching. If you're interested in some of the other stuff that I've done, I have done some illustration videos prior to this, along with some comics. I did one before, which was symbiote related, or Venom related, as it might be more understanding, where it was, I took the origin of how Carnage was created and applied it to another character, which I applied it to the Hulk, which also has my own original story to it that is not in any way connected to the Marvel story. So all rights to theirs. So all rights to those characters, except for what I did to the Hulk, are theirs. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and maybe you're interested in some of the other stuff that I've done. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Multiverse Maker out.